Hi, my name is Caesar and welcome to Tips for Landlords and Property Managers brought to you by FastTV.com Law Group. Hi, thanks for joining me for another Tips for Landlords and Property Managers video. Today we're doing an overview on the technicalities of when does a guest become a tenant in California. We'll also go over some signs to look for and tips on what to do if you happen to have a rogue tenant. Stay tuned because we'll also go over some tips on how to try and prevent having rogue tenants in the future. A lot of tenants don't see any harm in allowing a loved one to stay in their place a few nights a week. Maybe things have gotten serious with your tenant and their girlfriend moved in. Your tenant's cousin is down on their luck and needs a place to stay while they get themselves back on their feet. Or perhaps your tenant's parents need constant care and so they decided to let them move in your property. What's the big deal, right? To most tenants, it might not seem like a big deal. For landlords, however, it can become a problem. It's important as a landlord to have anyone who stays on their property past the designated time period to sign the rental agreement, and we'll explain why. There are reasons why you should always have a rental agreement between you and your tenants. Most rental agreements include clauses about this specific topic, and most read something like this. Visitors may stay a maximum of 14 days in a 6-month period or 7 nights consecutively on the property. Any guest residing on the property for more than 14 days in a 6-month period or spending more than 7 nights consecutively will be considered a tenant. Anyone living on the property must be listed and sign the lease agreement. Any guests staying past these time frames are considered tenants in California and are protected by California tenant laws. Let's go over some signs to watch out for to determine whether you have a rogue tenant or not. Your tenant's guest spends most nights on the property. They're contributing to rent. They try to pay you rent directly. They have a key to the rental unit. They've been seen moving furniture in or a pet. They make requests for maintenance. If you encounter any of these signs early on, you need to act fast. If it isn't too late, a landlord is protected under California law and you are within your right to evict your tenant for lease violations. Let's go over some big issues that can arise from allowing guests to overstay on your rental property. Possible issues. Liability issues. Tenants not on the lease can't be legally held accountable for damages. This person hasn't gone through your screening process. How do you know you would rent to them? Is this person listed on the tenant's renter's insurance policy? What happens if they accidentally burn down your property? Possible difficult eviction issues down the road. Once they are legally considered tenants and they are not on your lease, how do you get them out for non-payment of rent? Before starting the eviction process on your tenant, it's a good idea to bring the issue to their attention. It's often difficult to have these types of conversations with your tenant, but they are very necessary for your protection. Most of the time, it is just a harmless misunderstanding, but that is up to you to judge depending on how your conversation about the issue goes. Start with a 24-hour notice to enter dwelling for a routine inspection and insist the original tenant be present. After you complete your inspection, start by asking, "I've noticed there is someone on the property staying here who is not on the lease. How long have they been here?" You'll immediately know if the tenant is aware of the issue that may come up with a rogue tenant living on the property. It's important to try and get as much info from your tenant as possible at this point without putting them on the defensive. Do they have a key? Are they receiving mail at this address? Are they helping you with rent? What's your understanding of the rental agreement regarding guests? These are all good questions to ask to try and get as much information from the tenant. Take the time to go over the risks of having rogue guests on your property and the liabilities that can affect you. At this point, you have two options. Allow the guest to get added to the lease, or if you're not satisfied with the results of the conversation, you may start the eviction process, since allowing guests past designated periods is grounds for eviction. Here are some additional tips that can help you avoid sticky rogue tenant situations. Never accept rent from someone who is not on the lease. The moment you do so, you are entering an agreement under California law, giving them instant tenant status. Never allow guests to make maintenance requests. Never allow guests to sign any sort of documents unless it's for purposes for adding them to the lease. We hope these tips can help you understand why it's so important to stay on top of your tenants' guests and how long they stay on your property. If you have any questions regarding this or any other issue, please contact us for a free consultation. Thanks for joining us. I'll see you on the next one.